All right, the Supreme Court comes out with another ruling, this one on student loan forgiveness. In this video, I'm going to go through a couple slides, kind of walk through what the ruling says and next step for borrowers out there. I'm going to give you some tips on what you can do. And then in the final slide, I'm going to give you some software apps out there that can also help you kind of pay down your loan. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. Thank you again for watching. All right, so the recent ruling here from the Supreme Court on student loans, this happened last week. There were actually two Supreme Court rulings that came out. And this one I'm going to go through, it relates to the student loans. So approximately 43 million people with student loans were impacted by this decision. And originally, during COVID, the Biden administration said up to $20,000 for each loan borrower would be forgiven. And the Supreme Court said, nope, that's not going to happen. If it was going to happen, it would cost, the government, $400 million to cancel these loans. So that's what came about here. Student loan repayments. So the interest on these loans will start accruing on September 1st. So back in COVID, Biden kind of put a freeze on all this interest and then telling people, you don't have to repay these loans right now. But the interest on these loans, we're going to start accruing on September 1st. So for like budgeting purposes, and you're kind of getting ready, you want to make sure that you know what those interest payments are, as part of your loan payments. And then the loan payments themselves are going to begin in October. Okay. So, it's July right now. It's the beginning of July. It's a couple months away. To kind of get back into practice, just say you're paying $250 a month on student loan payments, even though you don't have to do that now. What you may want to do is maybe, make these payments to another savings account that you have, right? So, there's Ally Bank that I talk about a lot that has this high interest rate, or Goldman Sachs's Marcus, right? If you don't have like one of these savings accounts, you should set one up. They have high interest, and you can be earning some, money on the side here as you kind of prepare to pay these loans back. That's one option here for borrowers, what you should do right now. Next is you can visit studentaid.gov or freestudentloanadvice.org, to kind of come up with a plan that works for you. Both of these sites, you can type in your income, what your loan amount is, and we'll kind of calculate what payment plan you should kind of work on. And then you want to make sure you know who your loan servicer is, what the due date of the loan is, and just want to make sure that you have the best income-driven repayment plan set up. Because for a lot of people here, you haven't been making payments for quite a while. So you want to make sure you get all caught up. You're connected online to their accounts, to the loan accounts, the loan servicer accounts, and you're all set to start making these payments. Now, if you have trouble repaying this, right? It's October and you're just having trouble. You don't have the income. You're just not ready to do it. What the Biden administration said is, all right, we're going to offer a 12-month grace period. What this means is your credit score won't be impacted. Okay. And you won't be at risk of default. Okay. Now you still have to, eventually make these payments. And also keep in mind that the interest are still going to be accruing during this 12-month grace period. So again, this 12-month grace period, what the Biden administration is not saying is, oh, don't worry, you're never going to have to repay these loans back. What they're saying is, your credit score won't be impacted and you won't be at risk of default. That's all what that means. Now, there's different options here, right, to kind of repay these loans back. So there's a term called the income-driven repayment plan. So it sets monthly student loan repayments at an amount based on your income and family size. If your income is low enough, your payments could be as low as $0, right? And this income-driven repayment plan was not impacted by the Supreme Court ruling. Okay, so you should look into this income-driven repayment plan. There's another one out there called the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program, where if you work for a nonprofit or a government agency and you're making regular payments, right? You have not missed a monthly payment. Whatever the balance due is after the 10 years that you've been working for this agency or nonprofit, the balance automatically gets forgiven. Again, this was not, this program has not been impacted by the Supreme Court ruling. Some other ways to kind of reduce your costs, you can, sign up for automatic payments. A lot of service providers out there will kind of reduce the interest rate by 0.25%. Instead of making one large payment each month, you can consider breaking it up into multiple payments, like 2 payments. And sometimes that can kind of reduce how much is due each month. And then kind of what's next, right? There's a lot of uproar, obviously, right? Because everyone was promised this. The Supreme Court comes back saying something different. There is, what the White House is planning on doing is using this Higher Education Act. And this act was used last year to cancel $6 billion worth of loans for borrowers that were deceived by their colleges, a lot of these for-profit colleges. So the White House is going to go down this other plan here. It's probably going to take months, if not over a year, to kind of get all this kind of set up. And there's no guarantee that this doesn't go through the Supreme Court again and gets, put down. So, if you're a borrower out there, I wouldn't, put your hopes up on this, but this is, what's happening next right now. Now, if you haven't used it, there's some apps out there. So if you're on your own, you're repaying these loans, there's an app out there called Changed, gochange.com. It's a mobile app. And what it does is it kind of rounds up your, when you buy something and, something is $4.50, it rounds up to the next dollar, and that rounded up portion. So in this example, that 50 cents, goes toward paying down your loan. So it's a nice way to really not think about your loan payments. And whenever you buy stuff, the additional cents kind of goes toward your loan payments. So if you haven't signed up for that, definitely do that. If you work for an employer, employers offer benefits to a lot of their employees. There's different benefits. Think of like a 401k plan, like a gym membership and stuff. You should see if your employer has Peanut Butter. Peanut Butter is a software company out there that helps employers offer student loan repayment plans out there. And it's a benefit that employers kind of sign up. And as you work for an employer, one of the benefits is your employer will pay down your loan for you. So check to see if your company has that. And if they don't, you should encourage HR to kind of sign up for Peanut Butter. So that's the latest. If there's any, questions that you have, please leave them in the comments below. If you haven't signed up for the channel, please do so. Thanks for watching.